When will you get the cheapest tickets, and what season's going to feature the most new stuff? Is there a time of year when the crowds aren't nearly as bad? Let's talk about the best times to go to Disneyland in 2024 here on DFB Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Today we're taking a big leap into the future to see what 2024 has in store for Disneyland and Disney California Adventure, meaning we're going to be checking in on new offerings and returning events and ticket prices and crowd levels too. That way you can be prepared for your West Coast vacation no matter which season you decide will be the best fit for you. After you choose when you want to visit Disneyland, you'll have to choose how you want to experience Disneyland. Fortunately, we've got a free guide for that. Scan the QR code you see on the screen now or head over to disneyfoodblog.com/DisneylandPlans, and we're going to send you a digital companion that'll help you plan out 3 perfect days inside Disney's Anaheim parks. All right, are you ready to come with me and get started? We are going to go with some quick pros and cons first. Each new Disneyland season, you're going to run into different advantages and some pitfalls. Winter temperatures aren't too shabby, ranging around the lower 50s to upper 60s, and crowds aren't going to be too terribly awful either. But you will want to check the park hours and events calendar on the Disneyland website before you visit, since show times for the nighttime spectaculars become much more limited around this season and may not even happen at all on some evenings. So spring temperatures are going to keep you in spirit jersey/light jacket weather, but your teeth won't be chattering by any means. The beginning of March is the calm before the storm, and by storm, I mean massive spring break crowds. This is a better time to look into services like Disney Genie Plus and individual lightning lanes to help you potentially skip over lines that are usually high for even these popular parks. Later into spring, you'll also start to run into grad nights, which I'll talk about more later on. Even though grad nights take place after the parks close, you should expect busy days leading up to those after-hours festivities. When June comes, things start to heat up temperature-wise. The summer averages for Anaheim range around the 70s to mid-80s, but as the West Coast gets later into the summer, it can compete with the Floridian heat sometimes, getting up to 100 degrees on some of those July, August, early September days, believe it or not. All the more reason to pack a reusable water bottle and stay hydrated. While crowds in Disneyland are usually made up of locals, the summer crowds can bring in more out-of-state guests, meaning you'll run into lots of days just wildly busy for anyone's liking. Plan to set your alarms earlier to make it to the parks by rope drop. Not only will this help you get in line for the rides before the midday rush, but you'll also be able to experience that cooler park weather before the sun cranks up the rays in the afternoon. Between mid-September and mid-November, kids go back to school and the parks chill out with their crowds and their temperatures. I'm not saying you're going to be downright cold because falls in California get roasty toasty sometimes, but once November rolls around, expect mid-70s temps to be the norm for a while. It is beautiful in Southern California. And then it's holly jolly season time. We love visiting Disneyland during the holidays, except for the fact that crowds return and can be even worse than what you'll experience during spring and summer break. So be sure to have all your advanced dining reservations and hotel bookings lined up months before your festive trip, just to guarantee that you're going to have them. Also, don't forget to pack your Christmas sweaters and coats because December can bring cooler days to Anaheim, usually ranging from the mid-40s to mid-60s. Next, we've got 5 crucial things to remember. We don't know when Tiana's Bayou Adventure is going to open yet. According to Disney, this reimagined Princess and the Frog themed log flume, which used to be Splash Mountain, is expected to open later in 2024. But this could mean anything, y'all. Later could mean starting in the second half of the year, it could mean fall, or it could mean December, or if Imagineers run into any big delays, it could be pushed back to 2025 if they need more time. While we're still anticipating the opening of this ride, it's still best to not plan your whole trip around it. If you want to hold off on planning your big trip until you know Tiana's Bayou Adventure is going to be open, then I'd suggest waiting until you hear more about a specific time frame from Disney, and don't rely solely on internet speculation to help you plan your vacation. Be sure to check back here with us. Through our videos, posts, and DFB newsletter, we're going to get you any and all official updates that we can. Second thing to be aware of before you start making the big decision about when you're going to Disneyland. Lightning lanes are about to change. Starting in November, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway at Disneyland and The Little Mermaid Ariel's Undersea Adventure in DCA will be added to the Disney Genie Plus lineup. As of now, Mickey and Minnie's is available as an individual Lightning Lane instead of being offered as part of the standard Genie Plus service. And Ariel's Undersea Adventure hasn't had a Lightning Lane option at all. So expect these two attractions to integrate into a longer list of Lightning Lane selections in 2024. But that may not be the end of the Lightning Lane changes. Is it ever? No, it's never. There's always changes. Disney has mentioned that they're currently working on a way to make it possible for guests to pre-select certain Lightning Lanes ahead of their visit and not just have to do it on the day of. So we're not sure what this is going to mean for the future of Genie Plus just yet, but we do know Disney's wanting to get this update out for their guests sometime next year. So again, we'll make sure to let you know when more details are released regarding those potential changes. Something else to note before you make your decision, 2023 was a busy year for Disneyland. We got to see the reimagined Toontown open up in Disneyland Park, Tarzan's Treehouse was rethemed as the Adventureland Treehouse, San Francisco replaced the former Pacific Wharf area in DCA, and new Disney Vacation Club rooms were added to the Disneyland Hotel. And currently in the works, Paradise Pier Hotel is transforming into Pixar Place Hotel, which should be completed later this winter. Don't worry, you can still stay there now. So if you didn't get the chance to experience these additions in 2023, they'll be waiting for you with open arms next year. And there are still additions we're waiting to hear more about. Downtown Disney's working on new restaurants, Avengers Campus is expanding into the multiverse, and we might even see an Avatar attraction pop up in the parks. While some of these experiences we know are on track for a 2024 release, like the Paseo and Centrico Mexican-inspired restaurants in downtown Disney, for instance, others are still yet to be determined and may not release in 2024 at all. We also just recently learned that Haunted Mansion will be getting an expansion in 2024 too, which will include an expanded outdoor queue with new gardens inspired by Master Gracie, Madame Leota, and the One-Eyed Cat. There will also be a new retail shop next to the ride's exit that Disney has mentioned will be the standalone shop that belongs to our dear Madame Leota, which sounds an awful lot like the Memento Mori gift shop Haunted Mansion has next to their version of Haunted Mansion currently. Disney also shared that they'll be taking this opportunity to improve the accessibility of these areas, which includes a new elevator exit from the Haunted Mansion for guests with disabilities. But once again, we're not sure when exactly this is all going to be up and running. So, at the risk of you getting annoyed with my repetition, we will let you know when we find out more. Also note that Park Pass reservations are still required. While Disney World will be doing away with their Park Pass reservations, mostly on January 9th, 2024, at least for people with date-based tickets, Disneyland still requires you to make them for now. So don't forget to make your Park Pass reservations after you purchase your theme park tickets so you can save your spot in either one of the parks. To make sure Park Pass reservations are still available for the days you're wanting to visit so that you don't purchase tickets and then find out all those reservations have already been taken up on the days you're supposed to be there, just head to the Disneyland website and check out their theme park reservation availability page to give you that peace of mind. So with all of those updates out of the way, let's take a look at what Disneyland in 2024 is going to be like so you can figure out which season is calling your name. We're going to start in winter. So in 2023, January in Disneyland was an ultra busy time for the parks as they kicked off Disney 100 Years of Wonder, celebrating the 100th year anniversary for the company, which meant new shows, the big Toontown reveal, an updated look for Sleeping Beauty Castle, and tons of other celebratory additions. But this year we're heading into 2024 with a much milder manner. Well, sort of. I'm not talking about New Year's Day or the next few days following New Year's Day because that's still going to be a busy time for both of the Disneyland parks. Normally, Disneyland and DCA will stay open later on New Year's Eve leading into New Year's Day so guests can have the opportunity to count down to the new year together inside the parks. Typically, we've seen Disneyland stay open till 2 a.m. and DCA until 1 a.m., but we don't have an updated schedule for this year's New Year's celebrations yet, so make sure you're checking back on the Disneyland online calendar for when those times are announced. Sometime in January, not sure whether it's going to be earlier or later or somewhere right between, the Haunted Mansion construction is going to start taking place for that new queue and shop area. So even though we're still not sure when that new area is going to be open for guests, we do know Disney's going to get right to work on it once the new year rolls around. And I hope you got a training regimen in place because the Run Disney races are returning to Disneyland. From January 11th to the 14th, Disneyland will once again be hosting their half marathon weekend. Unfortunately, these events have already sold out for this year's races since registration opened for them like almost a year out, But if you're just planning on visiting the parks during this time as a guest and not as a runner, keep in mind that you're going to see an influx of guests that you were not expecting during this typically non-busy season. And ready to hear about an underrated event completely unique to the Disneyland scene? Well, Anaheim Duck Day takes place in mid-January to celebrate the city's Anaheim Ducks hockey team, featuring several day-only events, including an Anaheim Ducks cavalcade, a fan zone where you can put your hockey skills to the test, Duck-themed Animation Academy drawing classes, and several specialty treats. On January 20th, the rules for early theme park entry are going to be changing, for better or for worse, depending on who you're talking to. Right now, both parks open 30 minutes early every day for Disneyland Resort Hotel guests only. So that's Disneyland Hotel, Grand Californian, and Paradise Pier / Pixar Place. However, when January 20th rolls around, guests with valid park admission and reservations who are checked in and staying at one of the Disneyland Resort hotels will get an extra 30 minutes at a designated theme park every day, not both, meaning either Disneyland or Disney California Adventure will be opening early. It'll be one or the other. So you'll want to check the Disneyland calendar a few weeks before your trip kicks off to make sure you're planning your park visits on the days you'll get to use those hotel benefits to their fullest. So make those park reservation passes on the days that correspond with that early entry. Now, returning later in January, Disney California Adventure will be hosting their Lunar New Year Festival, which we look forward to seeing come back every year. During this one, you'll be able to experience Mulan's Lunar New Year procession, live holiday entertainment and celebrations, special character appearances including rare characters like Mushu, arts and crafts booths for the kids, and of course the Lunar New Year marketplaces for food and drinks. This is kind of one of Disney California Adventure's extra little festivals. If you're planning on tasting your way around the festival, be sure to pick up a Sip and Savor Pass. This costs around $60 and will provide you with 8 entitlement tabs you can redeem for certain food and non-alcoholic beverages at participating locations. All eligible food booths will be listed on your lanyard, so you don't have to guess where you can redeem your tabs. And the list also includes eligible restaurants that have specialty festival offerings too. Normally, you can find Sip and Savor passes at the festival merchandise carts and other shops like Seaside Souvenirs, Kingswell Camera Shop, and Russian River Outfitters, my favorite store. Just remember to check our menus on our website first so you can see which of those eligible items are going to get you the biggest bang for your buck when you use them with your Sip and Savor pass. Now, I've got more DCA festival tips to come, but let's put a pin in that for now and make our way through the rest of the winter season. Last year, Disneyland After Dark events returned to the parks to the excitement of many, and we're assuming they'll be returning this year too, fingers crossed. We don't have exact dates for them or themes, but hopefully those will come soon. In 2023, Sweethearts Night happened on January 31st and select nights throughout early to mid-February, just to give you a little springboard for what to expect this year if this Valentine's Day theme event returns in 2024. In the past, Sweethearts Night has featured an exclusive fireworks show at Sleeping Beauty Castle, a royal ball hosted by Aladdin and Jasmine, moonlight cruises on the Mark Twain riverboat complete with a live jazz band, and tons of different photo ops and of course lots of snacks. Disneyland's After Dark events tend to be about 4 hours long, but you should be able to enter into the park 3 hours before the event starts for the pre-party mix-in. Previously, an After Dark ticket purchase has also given you unlimited digital downloads of Disney PhotoPass photos taken during the party, plus a commemorative keepsake. So what are winter ticket prices going to look like for a very busy couple of months at Disneyland? Well, it depends. During most weekends throughout January, single-day ticket prices can be as low as $104 per person. But we see those prices peak at $194 per person during the first week in January and the weekend following Valentine's Day. Moving on to spring, a trip to Disneyland during the spring can bring you some of the best times and busiest times. Don't forget, springtime is spring break time, so set your travel expectations with crowd levels in mind. Got that? Good. Okay, now let's cover the new stuff coming in the spring. The classic Star Wars flight simulator attraction, Star Tours, will be getting all new ride scenes in Disney's Hollywood Studios, Disneyland Paris, and of course Disneyland Park 2. We're still waiting to hear if this is going to be an early spring or late spring release, but what we know for sure is that these new scenes are going to incorporate a fan favorite Star Wars character, Ahsoka, into the ride. While DCA's Food and Wine Festival isn't new, we're still excited to see it return to the West Coast in 2024, and hey, they always have new stuff at it anyway, right? In 2023, DCA's Food and Wine Festival was offered from March 3rd until April 25th, so expect a similar time frame for 2024. During this springtime festival, you'll be able to try lots of festival marketplaces and order off expanded menus with craft brews, signature cocktails, savory snacks at certain Disney California Adventure restaurants. The past few Food and Wine festivals have also brought back the original Soarin' Over California ride, which was an opening day attraction for this park back in 2001. So if you want to take a flight through nostalgia, spring is your chance to do so. And don't forget, it's also over in Epcot here for a limited time. Normally, there are several bookable experiences on top of the already included offerings that you'd need to remember to book ahead of time if you want to try them out yourself. In the past, this has included mixology classes and seminars and taste testing experiences. DCA hasn't released any booking information for these extra offerings for the upcoming festival, but we do keep an updated list of booking dates and DCA food and wine information on the Disney Food Blog website, which I'll link in the description below. That way you can stay in the know when more DCA food and wine details become available. There's also the slight possibility that these seminars will have a limited amount of same-day reservations on the day of your visit, but if you already know you want to do one of these experiences and they're offered this year, it's always better to book them in advance since space is extremely limited. If you want to experience Disneyland when guests are dressed up to the nines and nostalgia is running rampant through the Main Street USA, then you may want to book your Disneyland trip around Dapper Days. Disneyland's Dapper Days is returning on April 7th and is a fan-created event where guests are encouraged to wear their finest Disney-bound outfits around the parks. This means suits and dresses, suspenders, parasols, pantaloons even. Whatever you want to wear to bring past fashion back into the present is okay, as long as it respects Disneyland's guidelines. Now, if you don't want to dress all fancy on your Disneyland vacation and you'd rather stick with your average tank top and shorts, you're still totally able to buy tickets to the park on those days. No one's going to judge you for keeping things comfy casual. But just remember the parks will definitely be busy both of these days, since this has been a popular event for Disney fans for many, many years. So Easter's on its way back to Disneyland. Every year, Disneyland likes to hold an extravaganza hunt around the Disneyland resorts, where you and the family can track down different eggs painted to look like popular Disney characters. This fun little activity tends to show up around April, so check back with the Disneyland website when it gets closer to time to see when you can expect for this seasonal offering to appear around property. The Easter season is also when you can get those famous chocolate-covered fudge Easter eggs from Candy Palace inside Disneyland Park, which we literally wait for all year round because they are just that good. Now, usually on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays up until Easter, you can get a chocolate egg made fresh in the shop, sold for around $13 each. That may seem like a lot of money for just one egg, but they are massive. There is no way you can eat this in one sitting, and probably not even two. Now, those dates and times may change. I don't want you to book your trip right now based on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, because that, of course, could change, but just use that as a guideline. In the past, we've tried fudgy egg varieties like chocolate nut, vanilla nut, chocolate cream, black walnut, and of course, my favorite, peanut butter fudge. But the flavors change up every year and every week sometimes, so we're excited to see what they come up with. Now be warned, the Candy Palace line for these can get really long on the days they're available, and people rope drop that line. They're gonna go get in line as soon as it opens, even though these aren't gonna be available till like 11 o'clock or 12. You might even have to enter into a virtual queue just to wait for your turn to purchase them. So if you want to be sure you can secure your fudgy egg, we recommend checking with Candy Palace when you arrive in the morning to see when the eggs will be released that day. That way you can be ready to get into that queue a couple of hours before they're available. In the past, Disneyland has offered a villains-themed After Dark event for guests, but in 2023 they switched things up with a new Princess Night for the beginning of March. So who knows, we could see Princess Night return, we could see villains come back onto the scene, or maybe we'll get an entirely new event to look forward to in March. But other After Dark events we might also see return this spring are Throwback Night, which celebrates Disneyland's past in good retro fashion, and Star Wars Night, which typically happens around May the 4th, of course. I expect that we'll be hearing more about these After Dark parties in the near future, since 2024 guests will need to know when to lock in their purchases for these separate ticketed events super soon. And FYI, they can sell out very, very quickly, so as soon as you hear from our newsletter that those tickets are going on sale, be sure to set your alarms. Now don't worry, not everything happening this spring in Disneyland is an uncertainty. We do know that Grad Nights will be back in 2024 to celebrate graduating seniors. Grad Nights take place after DCA closes on certain evenings throughout May and June. Tickets will be available to purchased for the graduating seniors to provide a fun and safe celebration night with exclusive party offerings just for them. In May, grad nights will be offered on May 10, 14, 15, 17, 19, 22, 23, 28, and 31. And they continue throughout June on June 2nd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 12th, and 14th. Getting tickets for grad night isn't as easy as hopping on the Disneyland website and purchasing. This special ticketed event is organized by the Disney Imagination campus, meaning your ticket must be offered to you through your school or a travel planner. Students or parents of students, if your school is offering these tickets, you can learn more about the registration process on the Disney campus website. Here, you can learn more about the 3 different ticket tiers, including ticket option 1, that's for grad night only, costing $109 per person on the weekdays and $114 on the weekends. Ticket option 2, that's for grad night and a full day at Disney California Adventure. That's $139 per person on the weekdays, $144 on the weekends. And ticket option 3 is for grad night and a park hopper that'll allow you to jump between Disneyland and DCA during the day, leading up to the event. This one's $209 per person on the weekdays and $229 on the weekends. And since we're already talking about ticket prices, what are the single-day ticket prices going to look like for everyone in 2024? Well, per the release of this video, Disneyland ticket prices only go as far as mid-April, so the lowest ticket prices we're seeing so far are available around March 4th to the 7th at $134. But for the rest of the month, aside from a few days here and there, ticket prices go as high as $184. Meanwhile, the average ticket price we're seeing for April ranges around $169. So in order to get an idea of what May prices are going to look like, we got to turn to Disneyland's tier system. Disneyland's tier system is broken up into 6 different price ranges. Tier 0 features the lowest ticket prices for seasons with lower demand. Those start at $104. And Tier 6 features the highest ticket prices for seasons with higher demand, obviously, peaking at $194. May can prove to be kind of a tricky month for Disneyland's tier system, but last year we saw several days throughout May fall into Tiers 3 and 4, which is now priced around $154 to $169. All right, we have made it to summer. What's on the agenda for us, Disneyland? Well, summer tends to be a sweet spot for lots of families since kids are on vacation and teachers are too. And those summer evenings get especially busy since that's when locals get off work and decide to dip into the parks for a bit with their magic key holder passes. But some of the biggest Disneyland crowds of the summer happen on the 4th of July, especially since Sleeping Beauty Castle has a very special fireworks spectacular every Independence Day that'll light up the night sky in an oh-so-patriotic display. Tons of red, white, and blue to go around. If you want to visit Disneyland on the 4th, be prepared for really thick crowds and some bottlenecked pathways, as well as long lines for the rides, which may make the price for Genie Plus seem a lot more worth it. Recently, Genie Plus base prices increased from $25 per person per day to $30 per person per day. That being said, prices still do vary by date, so they could be even pricier around the summer season. But with that price, you'll be able to select lightning lanes to bypass the lines of several rides and attractions, and you'll also get to keep all your PhotoPass pictures that you take around the park that day. This past June, Disneyland hosted another new After Dark event called Pride Night. During the event, guests were able to ride popular attractions with limited lines, see special entertainment, purchase themed merchandise, and eat several themed snacks, as well as watch a Pride Night cavalcade featuring Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Clarabelle, Donald, and Daisy in brand new outfits. Pride Night happened on June 13th and 14th this year, so keep checking back on the Disneyland website to see when it might be happening in 2024. Hint, we first heard about this event in April, so if history repeats itself, I'd keep my ears to the ground around then if I were you. Now, you know why summer at Disneyland is worth getting excited for? Because summer is when Disneyland celebrates its birthday. Disneyland Park opened on July 17th, 1955, and it does look great for its age, doesn't it? Disneyland will be turning 69 this year, so not a major milestone or anything, but still one worth celebrating. Keep your eyes open around the parks for any specialty snacks or souvenirs that might pop up during your visit. Now, here's a big event you're going to want to put on your calendar. August 9th to the 11th is D23 Expo, which, if you're unfamiliar, is a major event for Disney fans worldwide, and it happens every 2 years in Anaheim. During this event, big announcements are made about the future of the company, from its movies to its shows to new rides to cruise ships to parks. D23 will take place at Anaheim Convention Center, but the official kickoff will be in Disneyland on August 8th, which will be a separately ticketed event. And every evening, big events will also be taking place over at the Honda Center too. Ticket sales should go live for this event around spring 2024. But even if you aren't planning on attending D23, expect a whole lot of excited Disney fans to be flooding the parks that weekend. So does a busy summer in Disneyland mean higher ticket prices? Well, typically, yeah, it does. In 2023, many summer weekdays actually fell into Tier 4 pricing, similar to what we're seeing around April at $169. But summer weekend prices, specifically Saturdays, will spike up to Tier 6, which is now around $194. We've made it to fall. Don't you feel that the temperatures are already lowering and you can just smell the season? Anyway, this is one of my favorite times to visit Disneyland for lots of reasons. First off, Oogie Boogie Bash returns to Disney California Adventure for Halloween time, and that's a worthy enough reason for me. It's one of my favorite after-hours events in all of the Disney parks. This is a separately ticketed event, and it's filled with treat trails and rare character sightings and the Frightfully Fun Parade and my personal favorite, the Villains Grove Walkthrough, which is an illuminated, immersive trail themed after several popular Disney antagonists. Keep in mind that Villains Grove will more than likely have the biggest line you'll experience during Oogie Boogie Bash, but you're not going to want to get in line for it until night falls, since the trail relies heavily on lighting and fog effects to pull the whole thing off. Instead, try getting in line for this one during one of the Frightfully Fun parades, because the parade will happen twice each night of the event. Oogie Boogie Bash is extremely popular among out-of-town guests and locals alike, so tickets for this event tend to sell out real fast. General admission usually goes on sale via the Disneyland website a few months before the actual event kicks off. This year, tickets went on sale at the end of June, but the first party didn't take place until September 5th. So if you're really wanting to experience this one, which you should, then you're going to have to be in a Halloween mindset while on summer vacation. Usually we hear about when these tickets are going to go on sale for this event during the halfway to Halloween mark, which is around April 30th to May 1st. When it is time for you to jump online and get those tickets, they typically go live starting at around 9 a.m. So make sure you're at your keyboard and ready to go well before then. Depending on demand, you may have to wait in a virtual queue before you can check out your tickets. And the queue could keep you waiting for just a few minutes, but it's not uncommon for it to get up to a few hours long on that first day tickets go on sale too. Just depends on what your number in the queue actually turns out being. But after the queue, you should be led to the main site where you can complete the transaction, and Disney will lead you through the purchasing steps from there. Now, if you don't want to pay a separate ticket to take part in all the Halloween fun, that's okay. Lots of Halloween overlays happen throughout both parks during September and October too. And these overlays are included with your regular theme park ticket purchase. In Disneyland, you've got the Haunted Mansion Holiday Overlay featuring a Nightmare Before Christmas theme that lasts until the end of the year. Usually this overlay starts up at the beginning of September, but word of warning to my August vacationers out there, that means Haunted Mansion does close for a couple of weeks to make this transition happen. So if you don't want to potentially miss out on Haunted Mansion, then a mid-August Disneyland trip may not be the right fit for you. And speaking of, an early January trip might not work either, because same thing happens then to change it back to the regular Haunted Mansion. On select nights, Sleeping Beauty Castle also shoots off their seasonal Halloween fireworks. Keyword, select nights. Make sure you check the Disneyland calendar on their website before your visit so you don't miss out on the show. In Disney California Adventure, you've got even more ride overlays to anticipate, like Guardians of the Galaxy Monsters After Dark, super terrifying, Luigi's Honkin' Halloween, adorable, and Mater's Graveyard Jamboree, also adorable. Now, I did mention here that Guardians of the Galaxy Monsters After Dark is terrifying, so if you have someone in your group whose whole day is going to be ruined after a potential jump scare and heavy metal music, then you're going to want to watch a POV ride-through of this one online before assuming it's going to be all hunky-dory for everybody. Because in case you weren't aware, Disney can come up with some real creepy stuff at times. Nightmare-inducing even. From one holiday to the next, let's talk about Christmas. Right before Thanksgiving, you're going to start seeing some Christmas decor decking the Disneyland halls. Honestly, is up in October this year, and all this festive cheer continues on until earlier January. DCA's Festival of the Holidays also kicks off in mid-November, which brings several holiday traditions into the park, including holiday celebrations for Christmas, Navidad, Hanukkah, Diwali, Kwanzaa, and Three Kings Day. During the fest, expect to see performances, character sightings, and tons of limited-time food and drink offerings across the festival food marketplaces. Festival of the Holidays typically runs until early January. And if you want to know something real cool about the DCA festivals, you don't have to wait in line for all your food. No, I'm serious. It's the greatest. All you've got to do is order all your festival food at one booth. Which booth? Any booth, but preferably the one with the shortest line. When it's your turn to order, ask for any of the festival foods you know you're going to want to try, even if they're not all made at the booth you're at. You won't be able to collect all your festival foods there, but you can prepay for it all so that all you have to do at each booth is waltz up to the pickup location, show your receipt, and receive what's yours. As far as fall pricing is concerned now, for those tickets, it's all over the place. Ticket prices linger around the tier 0 to 1 mark during September, yay. Then they hit the mid 2 to 4 tier pricing by October, and once you start getting closer to Thanksgiving, prices tend to skyrocket to that peak 5 to 6 tier. Now, we have made it to the holidays, my friends. Just like that, we're back in the winter season, but this time in holiday mode. Unlike Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios over on the East Coast, Disneyland Park hasn't offered a consistent after-hours holiday party. Every once in a while we get one, and it's a great one, but it's not like multiple nights or anything. However, you're still going to be able to see tons of festive offerings with your regular day ticket, including a Christmas fantasy parade, holiday fireworks, and tons of lights across main Disneyland buildings like Sleeping Beauty Castle and It's a Small World. Meanwhile, over in DCA, the Festival of the Holidays doesn't hold all the Christmas fun. You'll also be able to see World of Color Season of Light, and a Christmas overlay in Cars Land with rides updated to fit the jolly spirit, including Mater's Jingle Jamboree and Luigi's Joy to the Whirl. That's right, whirl. So holiday season ticket prices tend to get higher and higher the closer you get to Christmas, so the earlier in December you can visit the parks, the more likely you'll be able to skip out on those tier 6 prices. So there you've got it, all 12 months of Disneyland in 2024, laid out for you. Throughout the year, we should be getting more release dates, more price updates, and more announcements for the Anaheim Park, so make sure to keep checking back in with us. Join that newsletter, it's totally free, and we give you all the info we know. And don't forget to grab our free guide to help you plan your 3 perfect days in Disneyland over at disneyfoodblog.com/DisneylandPlans. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. Can't wait to see you in Disneyland next year. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.